Hello, it's Dabido. I'm a doctor from Australia that loves to build things using tech. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about the Part-Time YouTuber Academy. This is a course made by Abdaal, who's a doctor in the UK also, but he has been a YouTuber for about 3 years and amassed 1 million subscribers plus and has made pretty much a full-time business out of it. I wanted to take this particular course because of the fact that I myself am just starting with YouTube. I wanted to figure out how he got there. I wanted to really gain his insight onto the different steps with channel growth, with monetization, with building teams and all of that, and with content creation. Amazingly, this course is all of that. So I wanted to really talk about this course, partly as thanks for being part of that first cohort to Ali, but also because I wanted to give a very honest review about it for anyone that's considering this course, and even who maybe this course might not be for. Basically, the Part-Time YouTuber Academy is structured into different sections to do with, one, finding your niche, finding out who the perfect audience for YouTube is, because fundamentally YouTube is about making things for people. There's numbers and stuff and there's views and they might just be some sort of abstraction, but in the end, like, everyone that you're reaching is someone that's on the other side of the screen. When I'm talking to you across the screen, although like physically I might be talking to a glass lens, but really you yourself on the other side of this are a real person, and I'm a real person too on the other side. But the first thing that is talked about really is this whole idea of niching down, because we can't be everything to everyone, and the knowledge and stuff that we have, it's not useful for every single person. And starting off very, very broad, for example, with some vlogs or some, lifestyle channels and stuff like that, people sometimes find that when they're starting YouTube, they get stuck because of the fact that they haven't been specific enough with their audience, and then therefore they have trouble getting a following of people to their channel because of that specific thing. They try to start off in areas where there's way too much competition, and as a result, their YouTube channel doesn't grow. So the first part of the PTYA course talks about niching down and really very, very crystal clear, solid defining who is that exact person that will become your true fan and will love your channel and will be your super duper fan, I guess, for lack of a better description. Having that part of the course is really useful for people that are wanting to figure that thing out. The next thing is that Ali talks about his content creation. Ali has been creating videos very, very consistently for the past 3 years, and so that's perhaps out of all things, although there's a lot of self-reflection and a lot of really smart stuff going on, but out of all things, the fact that he's managed to create 3 years of content continuously is probably the biggest factor for his success, as he tends to state himself. There's another video where he talks about how just that consistency is vanishingly rare. So I think that, with that concept of consistency, that's useful to start off with, and I think that that's actually a breakthrough point even for me and for a lot of people. But going into the specifics of what that looks like behind the scenes was really, really valuable. He talks about how he uses and repurposes content from other creators. There's a lot of content, for example, that he will take and then form it in his own words, and I think that concept means that if you do the same thing, then you actually never run out of content. So I guess one anecdote I can share is that when I was a kid, I remember, and this was when I was very young, I remember having a slight fear that I would just completely run out of things to talk about because I would talk about every single topic that I could in the world, and then I would literally have nothing else to say. So that was a pretty irrational fear. When I thought about it, when I think about it now, it's kind of silly. I think that there's a very real fear on YouTube. What if you create ideas but then you run out of ideas to talk about? Ali gives this whole idea of taking other people's thoughts and then using it and making it part of your own thoughts and adding your own twist to it, and then that's how you can systematically make content, never run out of ideas. So that was really cool, and I really like that part of the course too. He talks about video production and all the equipment and stuff that he uses for different budgets and stuff like that. And there's this concept of stacking the deck in your favor. So for example, every single thing that you do in terms of growth for your business or for YouTube or whatever, really it's just a series of cumulative advantages, and each of those advantages themselves may not be enough to, skyrocket your channel or anything like that. If, for example, if you get a better camera, it doesn't necessarily mean that your channel will go from 1,000 to 10 million subscribers just in a few days. Those little things all really add up. Your camera, your video quality, your presentation style, cumulatively over a long period of time, those will actually make a really big difference. And so this idea of stacking the deck in your favor is one that occurs time and time again throughout the course. What Ali talks about with equipment and that sort of thing is how you can sort of use money to stack the deck a little bit in your favor and then increase the production quality. But that was really useful too, talking about what he uses. The idea of how to create engaging videos is a really, really interesting one, and I think that that's something that anyone that's growing on YouTube really wants to know the secret of, right? Ali talks about his hives method, and this method is how he comes up with a sort of structure towards creating engaging videos. So Ali always starts off with some sort of hook, some sort of thing to really reel you in at the start, and that's really important. If you look at any of the YouTube retention graphs, you can see that the viewers dip really quickly. So even in a few seconds, like a lot of people just like feel like, I don't want to watch this video, and so they dip off very quickly. The aim, I suppose, of someone that's trying to grow on YouTube is to try to increase that retention, and to increase retention, you sort of have to make things more entertaining and more useful at the same time. So having a structure, which Ali talks about in this course, really helps with that. He talks about how you can craft your hook, how you can craft your intro for making it clear to people what your channel is about. He talks about, adding value in the middle, and even what to do with the end screen, which is a lot of people think of the whole like and subscribe thing, but actually one of the cool insights is that really YouTube just wants you to keep people onto YouTube, right? So actually having that end screen linked to another video is one way that you can increase your viewer retention, and he talks about that in the course too. Finally, he talks about monetization and because it's really interesting. If you look at his subscriber count and his monetization count, or sorry, his revenue per user, his actual number of subs goes up, pretty exponentially. But actually you can see that his financial curve doesn't quite catch up until you can see that he's made like a very concerted effort to do that. And he's got really, really good strategies behind that. And he talks about the monetization aspects of things. He's talked about how he uses Skillshare in one of the other YouTube videos that he's done about how he makes money as a YouTuber and stuff. Actually, there's like a lot more to it, and I think that his description of like all the different arms of how things are, integrated into his YouTube as a business thing is super duper useful. My final thoughts on the Part-Time YouTuber Academy course: there is a certain person that this course is for, and there's perhaps a certain person that this course isn't for. I think that I'll start off with the latter. So for people that aren't really interested in investing a lot of time into YouTube, and for people that are sort of just dabbling a little bit and just like, I don't know if I should start a YouTube channel, or I don't know if this is the right thing for me, Part-Time YouTuber Academy is probably not the right course for people that are in this ambivalent stage. By the time this video is released, this course will cost quite a bit of money. There's a lot of things in this course that you can probably do to stack the deck, but a lot of them do require some resources. So for example, like, upgrading your video quality, or thinking about hiring a team and that sort of thing. That he goes into detail about that in this course. But if that's all sort of stuff that you wouldn't really think about doing anyway, I don't know if Part-Time YouTuber Academy is necessarily the best course for you, because you're not necessarily going to make the best use out of those aspects of things. It's still useful if you're using YouTube to create content and you just want to learn how to create better content, but by doing this course you really have to be at a certain level of seriousness. Like, you have to be this sort of person that will be like, look, I'm going to be doing YouTube for more than a year, and I'm going to make it a serious part of my life, and then that's why I want to learn how to grow on YouTube. If you're someone that's just casually thinking, oh, like it'd be nice to create a channel and stuff, but you know, I haven't really started and I'm not really committed to starting, I don't think Part-Time YouTuber Academy is for you. There is a proviso. There are a lot of people on Part-Time YouTuber Academy that had never published a video before. And a lot of that was due to fear. It was due to this sense of perfectionism that seems to, and if you're someone that really wants to start YouTube, but you just need that extra push, then Part-Time YouTuber Academy is like fantastic for that. Because I think that the biggest and most surprising bit about the value of Part-Time YouTuber Academy was the fact that there's such an amazing community around it. I met so many cool people that were creating channels about like architecture stuff, or creating channels about how to be more charismatic, or making stuff about how to, you know, get better employed and have a better resume and those sorts of things. It's really inspiring to see all these people who just want to create something cool themselves. Being part of that community is really uplifting. It is genuinely really uplifting. And there's this idea that you are the average of your 5 closest friends. I do really actively try to surround myself with people that inspire me, and so the Part-Time YouTuber Academy was really good for this. And unexpectedly, I made a lot of friends through Part-Time YouTuber Academy, you know. And it's not just other doctors, which I did make friends with too, but like people in completely different fields. For example, some people doing study guides, some engineers, those sorts of things. One of the best things I heard was, and I really resonated with this, was that someone joined Part-Time YouTuber Academy because they wanted to use it as a forcing function for them to actually get started. And I thought that I really resonated with that, because if you need a kickstart for something that you know you're going to be serious on, Part-Time YouTuber Academy, fantastic course. I would highly recommend it. It's probably one of the best courses that I've ever done. It's worth the few $100, or you know, in Australia it's actually like 1.1 thousand AUD. It's probably even more than that now that the prices are doubled and stuff. But even then, I still would have paid like the doubling price, because it's just like that good. It is expensive. There are like scholarships and stuff available, so I think you can email Ali about those. I would give an unequivocal strong recommendation to do it, because you know, I feel like this course has really changed how I think about approaching YouTube, and I really feel like growth is something that might have been something intangible and sort of murked in fog and stuff before, but now I've got a very clear strategy for what I want to do with this channel, and I think that is very valuable, because that is time that I can now spend doing that. Thank you to Ali and the whole team for making such a wonderful course. There's a lot of effort put into it. One other thing I wanted to talk about actually was the peer support groups, which I found really useful. So these were just informal calls. Our one was led by Archer Newton, who has like this cool channel. You can check that out too. He's a medical student in Australia. So like, you know, we sort of had these groups where we would come together and talk about our challenges with YouTube, our challenges with starting, our challenges with, you know, video production and those sorts of things. It was really useful. I really made a lot of friends there, and I felt like there was a lot of really smart people in that group. If you go and do the course, then you'll find the same thing and find that there's a really motivated cohort. I imagine that, you know, most of Ali's community would be that type of motivated too, because I suppose that there's a bit of selection bias when it comes to these sorts of courses and his audience and stuff. An unequivocal recommendation for me, if you're thinking about this course and you're wanting to dive into YouTube and take it seriously, absolutely the one you should go for. I wouldn't even bother. There's another one by video creators which is pretty good, but I still think that this is a really good one. If you're not that serious of YouTube and you're just sort of thinking, oh, should I do it, should I not? I think maybe hold off on this course and maybe do that a bit later, because it's not the type of course where it's for people to try to convince you that YouTube is a good thing to do. It's for people that already realize that YouTube is such a powerful platform to grow your audience, grow your business, express yourself creatively. And for those people, you'll absolutely get a hell of a lot out of this course. So yeah, thanks Ali and the entire team for making such a cool course. I'm glad to have been a part of it. And I look forward to being a part of the Inner Circle, which is another like membership thing that Ali is also hosting. Really drinking the Ali Abdaal Kool-Aid, I suppose. But yeah, hope that's useful for anyone that was considering the part-time YouTuber Academy thing. If you have any particular comments about barriers or what's stopping you, you can feel free to let me know below. Or if you have any questions, just let me know below. I'm happy to sort of answer about my experience with the course. Hope that was useful. You can check out. I'll leave a link down below. Hope this was useful, and you take care. And if you are there, or if you do join, eventually get into the membership thingy, maybe I'll see you there. That'd be cool. Okay, thanks.